I'm here, your favorite priest, the people's priest. Before I jump into episode 2, let me piggyback to episode 1 and make it clear that when I say that the church is sinful, I am not referring only to the Roman Catholic Church, but indeed to all churches. All churches within Western Christianity are sinful. Are you ready for episode 2? Speaking to you backsliders, skeptics, non-believers, all those who just can't stand to hear the word church, take a deep breath. Your problem with the church is because you did not hear about church in the correct way. Pimps and rascal pastors did not explain to you what really is church. They were too busy wanting to baptize you, to brainwash you, and to hoodwink more tithes from you. But then again, some just did not honestly know what a real church is like. Remember now, I am not about telling you the nice things about what is church. These are easy and you have heard them before. Example, like the church is a sanctuary. The church is the body of Christ. The church is a place of worship, and so on and so forth. I'm about to describe church in ways your pastors have never told you before. My biggest description of church is what I love and borrowed from one of the spiritual gurus of modern times. I adopted Ronald Rolheiser's description of church from his book, The Holy Longing. It is the most accurate, sound, and balanced description of church I've ever come across. Ronald Rolheiser says, the church is always God hung between two thieves. To be connected with the church is to be associated with scoundrels, warmongers, fakes, child molesters, murderers, adulterers, and hypocrites of every description. It is also at the same time identifies you with saints and the finest persons of heroic soul within every country, race, and gender. To be a member of the church is to carry the mantle of both the worst sin and the finest heroism of soul. I say, every Christian, every atheist, and every millennial should read Ronald Rolheiser's book, Holy Longing. A further description of the church says that every church community mediates the grace of God in very mixed ways. For example, sin, pettiness, and betrayal are always found alongside grace, sanctity, and fidelity. The correct recurring image of a church, is grace and sin, sanctity and pettiness, fidelity and betrayal. It is never one or the other. It is not either or. It is always both. Have you ever heard of both and? This means it is always both and more. It is never ever one. One seems to be a myth, a fallacy. Example, you cannot have good if there's no evil. You cannot have love if there's no hate. We could be here for the whole time talking about relativism and the both and concept, but we leave that for some other time. The church is not a place where you find only holy and righteous people. No more confusion, no more wrong perceptions of any holy and sinless church. The image of the church that has been painted by hustlers in the pulpit trying to get rich quick has been wrong. They have turned off serious, well-thinking, and critical thinking people. The church is like a dysfunctional family. Again, from the spiritual master, Ronald says, all human families and organizations are dysfunctional. It is merely to what degree. The church is one such dysfunctional family. Mr. Ronald Rolhauser says, it is an important horizon against which to understand the negative aspects of the church. Many people today cannot understand how the church that has so much terrible history against human beings and still some of its present corruption and scandals can or should be seen as some privileged instrument of God's grace. People are scandalized and hurt. This has caused many to become agnostics and atheists, but it's the pastors and the church leaders' fault. They figure the people would not someday know the ways of the church. They figure if the people knew the truth, then the pews would not be empty. But this is exactly what is happening, and it's still happening. If the church had told the people the truth when there were need and time for it, they would have been more understanding and forgiving. But they, the church leaders, like to push things under the carpet and even hush things in sacred silence. Remember now, the church is not where you find perfection. There's no perfect church. The church is a human version of the messianic banquet. It is taking place when we gather as a human sinful family meeting around the table of Christ. And it is our hope that our sinfulness will be transformed in and through Christ. Churches are compromised, dirty, and sinful, but just like our blood families, they are real. Real churches keep it real. Can the church change? Should the church change? Will the people forgive the church? Is there any such thing as any one true church? Will the church see its glory days again? So my people, look out for my next episode. It will be nice. It will be Usher Him Out, Mr. Vegas, Reincarnate. I am late, but it's better to be late than never. And remember to like and subscribe to this channel, The People's Priest.